Most of y'all are very sexist. Most of y'all are very toxic. Most of y'all just want to uphold patriarchy and influence the, young boys to do the same thing.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Just a Girl Show. My name is Janine if you are new here. If you're new to the channel, of course, hit that subscribe button, turn your notifications on so you never miss an episode. And if you are a subscriber, welcome back to the channel. The word patriarchy, I am so sick of Black women using that word. I want it to be thrown away because every 5 seconds it's the patriarchy. The patriarchy is trying to hurt women. The patriarchy is trying to control women. It's like they learn a new word and they will run with it, right? And it's just the reality that Black women just hate for men to be the leaders of society, of our community, of our homes, right? We know that the feminist movement, it showed that they got rid of the men. They don't need men. They don't want men, all the things. They stay pregnant by these men, but they hate the patriarchy, okay? When it comes down to us raising our sons, we know as women that we cannot teach our sons how to be men, period. The idea of it takes a village has been so lost, and it just doesn't exist. That's a big issue within the Black community, that there's no village. You can't tell a child anything. The older people can't tell anybody anything. They can't tell the mama anything. It's so destructive. And these women will always find a way to try to continue to keep men out of their children's lives or the children's lives in the community. But it's always the single moms. Here's this clip, y'all, for y'all to hear this woman talk about how little boys don't really need men in their lives, a bunch of men. Here's a clip that's come back and talk about it.
I said little boys don't need a bunch of male influence, and men are in my comment section mad because they feel entitled to our children, especially our sons. Especially when you are a single woman with a son, men, for whatever strange reason, feel very entitled to access to your children. They feel very entitled to mentor and guide and lead. Y'all know their obsession with needing to lead somebody. But they feel like they have this entitlement to be able to mentor and guide and lead your child, even if they're strangers. Like, I cannot tell you how many times I could be alone with my son in public and he could be doing something and a man feels the need to come up. And this was when he was a toddler. A man feels the need to come up and say, oh, stop crying. Boys don't cry. You're a big boy. A complete stranger. Mind you, me or my child don't know this man from a can of paint. But that's the type of shit that they do, because they feel like if they see a woman and a child, especially a little boy, out, oh, let me go over here and I think I see a young man that needs a male in his life, that needs a male influence. No, most of y'all are misogynistic as hell. Most of y'all are very sexist. Most of y'all are very toxic. Most of y'all just want to uphold patriarchy and influence the, young boys to do the same thing. Y'all are violent. Y'all are hypersexual. And most of you don't have anything good or decent to teach a young man. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but it's the truth. And y'all are getting butthurt in my comments as if I said kids don't need fathers. I never said that. I never said kids don't need their personal father. I said they don't need a bunch of male influence, because they don't. Really, if they got a daddy, that's enough. That's enough. That's really all they need. Your brothers or whatever, but like, they need to be very well vetted, and you need to pay attention to what they're telling your child, what messages they are inflicting into your child. You need to be very hyper vigilant about the men that you have around your son and what they're saying to him and what they're teaching him. That's just good parenting. And y'all feel like because you should have free range and free access to the little boys, and because you're a man and you obviously know better than this child's mother and you're a complete stranger. No, you don't know better about a little boy just because y'all share the same parts than their actual parent. And y'all are weird for thinking that, and y'all are weird for getting upset when somebody places a boundary that they don't want a bunch of you around their fucking son. Like, y'all are weird. You should not want this much access to children you don't know. If you're that much of a mentor, if you're that much of a leader, then the women in your life will have no problem having you around their sons. But a stranger on the internet saying that boys don't need a whole lot of male influence shouldn't bother you because you don't know me. So me and my child would never be part of the equation for you anyway. But if you was really like that, if you was really that guy, then women wouldn't have no problem having you around their kid. So it shouldn't bother you and it shouldn't apply to you. But y'all know, a lot of y'all, it does apply. And that's why you mad.
So she made it clear that they do need their fathers, but that's all they need. Just their father. That's it. That's it. That's it. These women, I heard her using the words, most men are this, most don't have this, most are violent. Like, they don't like to be generalized. Black women hate for you to generalize them. But they are quick to generalize black men, or men in general, but especially black men. Because the people who are in the comments, I'm sure they were primarily black men. But they are quick to generalize men, because most of them are dangerous. Most of them are over sexualized. Even in the comments, they said that they are predators. The men who are so focused on little boys, they are out to get them. They're out. It's a cult. Why are we so against allowing the men in our community to be examples? Now, I'm not saying, trust any and everybody. Not saying it. But you do see it in public spaces where you see a older woman who will say things to your daughter and say, "You're so pretty," and be nice to your mommy. And then you may see a man to a woman with a little boy say something to the little boy. "Hey, little man, treat your mommy good." It's just the nature of how you interact with a male interacting with a little boy and a woman interacting with a little girl. No harm at all. She said men see women with little boys and they're like, "I need to help. I need to do this." Isn't that what we want the men to do when they see us? We want them. Don't y'all want them to be vigilant and want to help if they can? Men have been taught to always take care of women and children. Look out for the women and the children. But to try to paint this picture that it don't matter, they don't need them because they're out to manipulate your sons or make them turn them into certain things or believe certain things. Have y'all seen these mothers and their sons? Have y'all seen the reality of how these women, how they're raising their sons to be their son husbands, to be their everything? How many sons end up in dangerous situations because of their mother? In prison, dead because of their mother, but they don't need men in their lives. They don't, too many mentors, they don't need all that. What if they don't have a father? And if they do have a father, what about the coach? What about that teacher, that male teacher? That mentor? Why would you want to eliminate your child from having as much support from the right people? These women just want so much control. That's what they want to control everything. And clearly, again, a single mom speaking like this, a single mom who knows what it is with your son and his father. But these women really believe that they are the end all be all because we've seen the LeBron James who are raised by a single mom, it work out for him. So you think you could do that too. But we also see how many young black boys are in prison or dead being raised in a single mother household. All they want to do is blame the patriarchy. Men are this, men are that. And now our boys don't need mentors. They don't need men in their lives. So we want to keep the women running the show. Not allow them to have guidance. And here's something different than what you're teaching them. a different perspective, from a man's perspective. Of course, protect your kids. Of course, be mindful of who you allow in their life and who gets to be that mentor or whoever that may be. Yes, you want to do your due diligence as a parent, but to say that they just don't need a bunch of men in their lives is insane. It's insane. But again, it's always the single mothers. It's always the single mothers talking like this. This is sad. It's unfortunate, but this is how a lot of them think. And this is how they view men. But again, they always got kids. They always got kids. Always. But these are just my thoughts. As always, per the usual, please let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. Like the video, of course. Subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next episode soon. Bye.